If you've ever wondered what a war looks like without a single bullet, move into a neighborhood ruled by an HOA president named Linda. It doesn't matter how pristine your lawn is or how many friendly nods you offer. She'll find you. And when she does, it won't be over anything big, just something petty, like the angle of your mailbox or the hue of your shutters. In our case, it was a flagpole standing a tad too tall for her liking. That's all it took. One flagpole, one woman with a clipboard and an ego the size of a small country, and suddenly my Uncle Victor, a man who'd stared down enemy tanks in real wars, was the neighborhood's most wanted. Victor wasn't just tough, he was a force. A retired Marine general with a spine of iron and a glare that could make a senator sweat. He didn't start fights, but if you brought one to him, you'd better have more than a tape measure. Linda didn't know that yet. She thought she was dealing with a grumpy old man who didn't read the HOA fine print. Spoiler, she was in for a rude awakening. Beside Victor stood Aunt Clara, a woman with a tongue sharp enough to cut glass and instincts that could outwit a fox. Then there was me, Nathan, the nefwhat-headed, sarcastic, and clueless about patience. At least, I was back then. It started small, the way petty tyrants always operate. Snide HOA notices slipped under windshield wipers, whining about unapproved patio chairs or Victor's American flag being potentially distracting to drivers. Clara turned it into a game, framing the first letter and sticking it on the fridge with a note, Empress Linda's edicts. Victor? He didn't blink. He just kept pruning his roses like the world's fate hung on it. Meanwhile, Linda ramped up her campaign. Daily patrols, measuring fence posts with a tape measure clipped to her belt like she was some suburban sheriff. It was almost funny, like watching a terrier bark at a bulldozer. But the humor faded when the fines rolled in. Grass a quarter-inch too long. Wind chimes, disrupting the aesthetic. A shed painted a shade that didn't match her approved palette. She even sent someone to sneak into our backyard with a color chart. I wanted to storm the next HOA meeting and demand her head on a platter. But Victor stayed silent, and it drove me up the wall. I thought fighting meant shouting, pushing, being loud. I didn't get that real strength. The kind Victor had was quiet. It was patient. It was a blade held back until the perfect moment. One morning, another yellow citation was jammed in the door. I snatched it, ready to rip it to shreds, and stormed inside. Clara read it aloud, mimicking a judge. Violation. Garden gnome deemed unsanctioned decor. She smirked. Guess the gnome's too wild for her delicate tastes. I crossed my arms. Let's paint it neon green and give it a toy shotgun. See how fast she calls the SWAT team. Victor, sipping coffee, didn't look up. If she wants a gnome war, she'll need backup. Clara grinned. Maybe her HOA goon squad. I paced, fuming. This is harassment. She's not even pretending anymore, and you're just watering roses. Victor's eyes flicked to me, calm but amused. Nathan, you don't want a war by swinging first. I snapped. Sometimes you've got to swing something. Clara chuckled. Bless him. He thinks noise beats idiots. I glared but shut up, because deep down, I knew they were right. I just hated it. Through the window, we watched Linda strut by, tape measure swinging, sunglasses perched like she was starring in her own cop drama. Clara sighed. She only prowls when Victor's outside. It was obvious. Linda was baiting him, itching for a reaction. She had no clue who she was poking. Victor wasn't a flare. He was a fuse, burning slow and steady toward a boom she wouldn't see coming. Then Linda went nuclear. One scorching Thursday, 3 sharp knocks hit the door hard, like they thought fear came with the HOA dues. Victor rose from his porch chair, unhurried. Clara barely glanced up from her puzzle. I bolted toward the door but slowed when I saw Victor's pace. No rush, no panic. He opened it to 2 guys in black polos, utility belts, and badges that screamed dollar store special. One clutched a clipboard. The other stood with arms crossed like he was auditioning for a bouncer gig. Afternoon, sir, the tall one said. We're here to inspect due to multiple HOA violations. Victor leaned against the doorframe, casual but deadly. And you are? Clipboard guy tapped his badge. Community Safety Task Force. Victor's smile was a warning. That a real title? Or did you print it off Etsy? The guy bristled. No entry needed, sir. Just a perimeter check. The shorter one stepped forward, trying to look tough. Non-compliance means enforcement action. I clenched my fists. Clara's hand gripped my wrist. Hold, she whispered, like she was spotting for a sniper. Victor didn't flinch. You threatening a Marine general on his own land? The tall guy blinked. The short one froze. Across the street, Linda lurked, filming with her phone, like she was chasing viral fame. Victor stepped forward, boots creaking. Those badges real? The tall guy fumbled a laminated card that looked like it was made in a middle school computer lab. Victor studied it like it was a bad joke. Tell your boss if she wants to play cop. She needs a real badge. Linda called over, voice syrupy. Any issues, gentlemen? Victor ignored her, advancing until the fake cops stumbled back. You've got no authority here. Step on my property again without a warrant, and I'll press charges. They scurried to their SUV, Linda trailing, muttering about standards. Inside, I rounded on Victor. We should have called real cops. He sat, calm as ever. And give her the meltdown clip she wants. Clara refilled his coffee. Amateurs shoot too soon. They burn out before the real fight. I seethed, but Victor's stillness made me pause. Maybe we weren't losing. Maybe the war hadn't even started. Linda wasn't done. She went full dictator, trying to evict Victor with a clipboard and two goons who looked like they flunked mall security school. It was early, the air thick with summer heat. Two unmarked SUVs blocked our driveway like they owned it. I raced downstairs, adrenaline pumping. Victor stood at the door, barefoot, unfazed. Clara buttered toast like it was just another Tuesday. A hard knock shook the frame. Victor opened it to two guys in tactical vests, sweating through their tough guy act. Clipboard guy waved a stack of papers. You're in violation of HOA standards. We're repossessing this property. Victor blinked. Got a court order? The guy checked his clipboard like it might sprout one. We have emergency HOA powers. Victor cut in. You've got a delusion and a piece of paper. The bigger guy puffed up. Refusal means physical removal. Clara's coffee cup hit the counter. I chanted, stay calm. But my blood roared. Victor pulled a recorder from a drawer. Click. Say that again. The big guy froze. Across the street, Linda live-streamed, grinning like she'd won. Victor flipped open a folder of county laws. Eviction needs a court order. Impersonating law enforcement is a felony. The goons paled. Victor stepped forward. 30 seconds to leave, or you're detained for trespassing. They fled, clipboard guy nearly tripping. Linda's grin faded as her goons glared at her. Victor snapped off the recorder. Idiots with clipboards, he muttered. Clara smirked. Hope they like real cops. I stared after the SUVs. Why not crush them harder? Victor sipped his coffee. Now they're the aggressors. Every dumb move they make buries them deeper. I watched Linda pace, phone in hand, clueless that her rope was fraying. The real fight brewed quietly. Victor called in his old crew. Bull, a grizzled vet with a brutal sense of humor. Tank, a giant who ducked under doorframes. And Ghost, a silent shadow who moved like smoke. They rolled in at dusk, turning the kitchen into a war room. Bull slammed whiskey on the counter. You call, General, we bring the heat. Clara slid a coaster under it. No breaking stuff unless it's strategic. Tank whistled, setting up a laptop. Ghost poured coffee, silent but deadly. I hovered, feeling out of place. Victor spread a neighborhood map, red pins marking Linda's fake fines and forged votes. She's sloppy, he said, flipping open a folder of emails, photos, and recordings. Bull grinned. Go public or go nuclear? Clara snorted. You boys love big booms. Victor wants permanent. Victor nodded. We expose her legally. No threats, just truth. I edged closer, wanting to contribute, but they were miles ahead. Bull kicked out a chair. Sit, kid. Quiet and smart beats loud and dumb. It didn't stinge at taut. Victor dropped a phone on the table. 3 county records requests. 2 residents ready to testify. She faked votes to stay in power. Clara tapped my knuckles. Patience. Outside, Linda's window glowed, scheming away, thinking she still held the cards. The showdown hit at the neighborhood barbecue. Grills smoked, kids ran, and Clara's coleslaw ruled the table. Victor lounged, relaxed for once. Then Linda stormed in, clipboard raised like a battle flag, 2 goons tripping behind her. Vincent Caldwell. She shrieked. You're summoned for violating community standards. The band stopped. A hot dog hit the grass. Victor didn't move. Linda charged, heels gouging the lawn. You've obstructed the HOA. You've endangered this neighborhood. I dropped the spatula. Bull growled, hold, kid. Let her choke. Linda shoved a paper at Victor. He tilted his head. Ma'am, you're trespassing. Snickers rippled. Linda's voice cracked. This is a legal summons. Victor smirked. Signed by who? The Easter Bunny. The crowd laughed. Linda jabbed the paper at him. Clara snatched it, grinning. This is printed on a coupon for cat litter. The crowd roared. Linda flailed. You'll all face consequences. Victor stood, slow and lethal, pulling off his sunglasses. You don't lead. You bully. You lie. You want to play dictator? Find a sandbox. He turned his back, dismissing her. The party resumed, kids laughing, phones filming. Bull clapped my shoulder. Best punch is the one they miss. Linda stood alone, seething, but the real storm was coming. We moved fast. County records exposed Linda's fake votes and unapproved fines. Her HOA Facebook rants, deleted but screenshotted, became ammo. I slipped flyers into mailboxes, whispering at dog parks. Did you know she forged signatures? Did you know she harassed families out? The neighborhood buzzed, whispers growing to roars. Linda felt it. She paced her lawn, screaming into her phone, accosting neighbors for loyalty they wouldn't give. Her mass email accused us of subversion. Her signs demanded emergency inspections. Her mandatory meeting drew 5 people, 3 for pickleball. We dropped the final blow, packets of proof-forged signatures, illegal fines, threat mailed to every home. Victor stood on the curb as the neighborhood woke. She's cooked, I said. He shook his head. Desperate people are dangerous. He was right. Linda snapped, storming our lawn, barefoot, screaming at cars. Slander. I built this community. Neighbors filmed, unmoved. Then sirens wailed 4 cruisers for a stolen traffic cone. Real cops, not our goons, stood at our door. Linda smirked behind them. He's hiding HOA property. Victor chuckled. For cars for a cone? Clara muttered. Next, he stole a garden hose. The cops searched, found nothing but Clara's gnome army. No evidence, ma'am, they told Linda. She exploded, storming onto our lawn. You can't humiliate me. You're traitors. She pointed at Clara. You with your illegal gnomes. At me, you're inciting terrorism. Clara whispered, put that on your resume. The cops tried to calm her, but Linda ran it at the sky. I am the law. Bull called. Want a sticker? The block laughed. The cops cuffed her for trespassing. She tripped over her clipboard, face planting in front of everyone she'd bullied. Sobbing, she was hauled away. The next day, the neighborhood bloomed. No fines, no memos, just a massive barbecue. Victor grilled, Clara stacked plates, Bull cheated at cornhole. I wondered, hearing thanks for holding the line. Victor sat beside me. I didn't fight her for me, he said. I fought so people could live without fear. I nodded. If another Linda shows up? He grinned. You'll know what to do. Streamers flew, unpermitted, joyful. The block was alive, messy, loud, free. And me? I wasn't small anymore. I was ready.